let me introduce you to some bamboo. Okay, so, it's mirrored the opposite way around on my screen. Okay, so bamboo comes in various sizes. The workhorse, the Model T Ford of all bamboo is this one, which is about 5 centimeters in length and about 3.5, 4 centimeters wide. And you can see that it's just a simple tube. It's been sanded down at the edges. And this is the one that I use for practically everything. And I'll show you how to load that in a minute. Now, there are some patients that you want to use a smaller bamboo on, and this is what I call Ontake Mini. Can you see the groove going down the side? That's just an accident of manufacture, because bamboo is grown naturally. Sometimes it gets this groove. And I actually love these grooved ones because it means you can place them facing down and they won't roll. So if you do ever buy bamboo and you've got a groove down it, you can think, oh, that's great. I can just place it flat and it's not going to roll away. So anyway, this is what I call Minion Take. And this is very good for children. Because if you approach a child with like a burning brazier, they're going to be nervous the first time. So if you've got a much smaller one like that, it's kind of a bit nicer. And if you're working on the face and your work, it's okay. You can keep on here because my second camera is on, so they can still see my face. So yeah, if you're working around the eye, then of course this is much less threatening than if you're approaching it with a giant ontake like this. There's a guy in Spain, a very good friend of mine called Philip Caude, who's also a moxibustion specialist. And he developed something he calls Superontake. Superontake, you can see, is about the width of my hand. And it has certain advantages. It's one of the things is that the moxa plug only comes up about halfway through. So you can see there's moxa in the end, and it's only loaded to where my finger is. So the rest of this tube is empty. That means that it's cooler to hold, so you can apply it. If you've got sensitive hands, then Superontake is quite a useful tool because you won't burn your hands. This, you can hold it at the cool end. But of course, when you're rolling with it, only one end is hot. Whereas, of course, if you're rolling with this, then the whole thing feels warm to the patient. Philip also likes to use Superontake because if you're holding it like this, you can apply more leverage. You can press harder. So you've got 3 kind of sizes of ontake. And as I say, the original Japanese size is this, and this is the Model T Ford of all ontake. And I use this, and I would say 90% of my patients. And then you've got Superontake for those of you with sensitive hands, or for those of you who like to press harder. And then you've got Minion Take, which are useful for kids and for sensitive patients and for working on the face. Though, if you're working on the face with one of these, you can just place a handkerchief, like a cloth on the face, and that will work just as well. Okay, what I'm going to do is show you how to load ontake, because this will get you started. So what I do is I put the bamboo on its side, and I just start to shovel in moxa from both ends. I'm just going to keep going until there's moxa practically coming out of both ends. So you can see it's kind of sticking out at both ends here. And then if you think what it used to be like when you had a can opener, you could open a can of tuna. So you just flip the ontake so it's vertically up, put your thumb in the top, and just keep pressing and rotating to compress the moxa. Flip it the other way around and do the same thing. So it's like opening a can of tuna. Cat lovers will know what I'm talking about. So you can see I'm compressing the moxa, and usually moxa comes with one of these batons. It's just a little piece of wood. You can use anything to compress the moxa. You can use this to finesse the end, to make it kind of very smooth and flat. So you can see this is a bit irregular. So again, I can finesse it here. And what I've done is I've compressed the moxa until it's about 1/8 of an inch, about 3 centimeters away from, there you go, from the edge of the lip of the bamboo. Now, traditionally in Japan, they had the plug much further away, something like that. And they used it in that way. So if your patients think it's too hot, or if you feel it's too hot, you can always compress the plug so that it's far away from the lip. That's one way to reduce the dosage. But for me, I like to control the heat more skillfully than that, and more immediately than that, just by the length of contact time. So if you place the moxa, if you place the bamboo on the skin for a long time, then it's going to feel hotter. And if you are very quick with it, you make the contact time very quick, it's going to be less hot. So I like to control the heat that way. And when the moxa plug is this kind of close, people will feel this warm ontake moment right away. Everyone gets this. You'll get it when it's called I call it the ontake moment. It's like, it just, as soon as you feel it, you'll know what I mean. Patients love ontake, and I think it was really a life changer, a game changer for my practice when I started using it, because patients loved it so much. Now this ontake here is brand new, so the plug is a little bit mobile. I've compressed it well now. It's a little bit mobile. Can you see when I press with my finger, it's moving very easily inside the tube. So that means I need to compress it more, and maybe even add a little bit more moxa, because particularly for the first use, you don't want that plug sliding out. Now, as the bamboo becomes more aged, then the inside becomes blackened and rough, and then the plug can't move at all. It gets stuck to the sides. But for a brand new ontake like this one, you need to compress the moxa a little bit more. So now you can see this is, with the same pressure, the plug is not moving. If I apply a bit more pressure, I can still get it to move, but I really have to work hard at it now. So we're safe to go. Okay. Now, when you're loading the Minion Take, you can't use this baton to compress it. It's too big. So you can just use a pen, or you can use your finger. Just a normal pen will do, like a round pen. So, for example, you can finesse it like this, just with a pen. Now, what I'd like to point out is that I've loaded, the loading for Minion Take is slightly different. You don't load it all the way to the end. You just, we divide the bamboo in half, then you're only going to put moxa into one end of it, so this half, so that it breathes a bit more. And you're going to fill this up. This second half, you're going to fill up just again to about 3 centimeters from the end. So there's a big hollow space. And it's the same rule for Superontake. You imagine dividing the bamboo in half, and then you just fill up that half so that you're about 3 millimeters from the end. So that's the difference between Philip's method and then using Minion Take and the standard Model T Ford. So that's really, of course, if you fill this up all the way, then as it started to get hot, the whole thing would start to feel hot, and you defeat the purpose having a cool handle. And also it gets more air into the plug. Okay, lighting on take. Now, you might think you can use one of these lighters, but you can't. If you use one of these lighters, you're going to get, first of all, the flame will play all over the lip of the bamboo, and secondly, you'll get soot accumulating all around the lip. So when you touch it to the patient's skin, they'll get black marks from the soot. So this kind of lighter is not suitable. What is suitable is a jet lighter, like the kind of jet lighter that you use for creme brulee, for cooking the top of creme brulee, or for some kind of a chef's kitchen lighter. So basically a jet lighter like this. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is model something that can go wrong, which is, oops, going out of focus a bit. That's it. That's it, yeah. So sometimes your lighter will be out of gas, so always have a backup lighter, because you can't, in the middle of a session, start getting an aerosol can full of gas fluid and filling up your lighters. You need to have that ready, so just always have a backup lighter. At least 2 lighters ready to go, and then if one fails you, you've got a second one. The second thing is always hold the bamboo at the end by your fingers, or place it on a horizontal surface like this, so that you're not holding it at all. And then you can just light the middle of the bamboo. I'll do that again for the camera. So, and try not to let the flame play on the wooden lip of the bamboo. Okay. Now, contrary to what I said, this one's being a bit smoky. I think it's because it's a virgin bamboo. It's a little bit smokier than normal. So it's breathing a lot more. Okay, so here's a bamboo. That's what it looks like when you apply it. It doesn't have to be red hot. And the first thing you want to do before you bring it to your patient, there are 2 safety tests. So the first safety test, okay, Bill, thanks very much for filming. I'm going to go back to facing the camera, so thanks. Okay. So the first safety test is you want to get this bamboo and tap it to the palm of your hand. Now the palm of your hand is relatively leathery and relatively tough, so if it's too hot, of course you can take the bamboo away very fast. But this will give you an idea of whether you've cooked the lip by mistake with the lighter. Because if the flame has been playing on the lighter, then that wood is going to be really hot, and the last thing you want to do is brand your patient with an O. So they won't thank me. So you just first of all tap it to the palm of your hand. And that's the first safety test. The second safety test is you tap it to your neck, because your neck is very sensitive. So if it feels good on your neck, then you know that you're good to apply it to your patient and you're good to go. And then that's almost the last thing to do. How do you extinguish Untake? I shouldn't have sent my cameraman away, but it's okay. It's all right, Bill. I'll just demonstrate here. Any old cupping jar will do. A plastic cup from a paper cup from Starbucks. You just basically want to deprive it of oxygen. So a glass cupping jar, a plastic cupping jar, just put it on a flat surface and cover it with a cup, and that will extinguish it. So that is the essentials of loading and lighting. The book goes into that in a lot more detail. And also, I have a YouTube channel and a Facebook group, so if you have questions on those things, you can join those.